Hello everyone, welcome to 14 Essential Building Tips with Lad. Here I'm just going to be going over some really nice building tips. So, building tip number 1, having a 3-block center as opposed to a 2-block center. It just makes building a lot easier. So, for example, if I just shave off this end here and then this end here, boom, look at that. It looks so much better because it's a 3-block center or 1-block center. And now it just works so much better. Look at that. It's beautiful. Now, the second tip is using stairs, not blocks. So as you can see here, the roof looks very, well, blocky. And so if we get ourselves some stairs instead, then we can replace those very blocky blocks with some stairs and to add a bit more depth to the walls. Boom. Just one more here, and then one more here. And that looks so much better on the walls when you use stairs instead of blocks. Tip number 3, using a roof of a different color. By making the roof a different color, it adds a bit of contrast and really makes it pop and feel less like it's just blending in all together. Building tip number 4, have the roof hang off a bit. So this, again, what I'm saying with flatness, look how flat that is. So if you have the roof hang off a bit, it adds a needed level of depth. And those shadows really add a great character to the build. So that already looks so much better. Tip number 5 is diversify the block palette. So it's a bit boring right now. It's all just wood. Just some plain oak wood. So by adding some more color, it really makes it pop and makes your build more interesting. See, look at that. Beautiful. I could have used this kind of advice when I was starting out building in Minecraft. Tip number 6 is inset your door. This comes right back to the flat aspect. We don't want this to be flat. Instead, we're going to set the door inward a little bit. And that brings out the shadows and gives your build more depth. Tip number 7 is landscaping. You can add a little bit of a farm to the area. So let's build a quick little farm here. So here we have a nice little farm, so beautiful, and then it just adds so much character to the area. Look at this character. So beautiful. What a farm. Can never go wrong with one of these. Oh my. Anyway, building tip number 8 is to use panes instead of blocks. So once again, it comes down to the flatness and the depth aspect. So if I get a glass pane instead of a glass block here, then it just adds a little bit of depth to the build. The next tip is to add some trapdoors. So trapdoors are, again, another depth, flatness eliminating tool. You can just add some trapdoors. And now look at all that depth we have. This is so modern and stylish. Look at all that depth. So wonderful. Tip number 10 is to make a theme. For example, diorite. By adding a theme, we make sure that all the blocks look good together. For example, the diorite really goes well with the diorite. It looks like they just blend right together. Tip number 13 is to add different lighting. So there's nothing wrong with the torches here, but it would look a lot better if we replaced it with lanterns instead, or even brug lights. And you can never have too much lighting. The brighter, the better in a lot of cases. So just a bit of extra lighting goes a long way. Tip number 13 is to add texture. For example, boom, texture. Tip number 13 is to take inspiration from other builders or other builds. For example, this beautiful build right here. I can take a note of the block palette and what it reminds me of, and I can build off of that idea. So, based on the inspiration I gained from that build, and the last tip of all, tip 14, is size doesn't matter. For example, I could build something like this. But is it really that much better than something like this? Seriously, it's not that much different. Size really doesn't matter, especially when you incorporate every other aspect that we've talked about in this video. Having an overhanging roof, insetting the door, using glass panes, and landscaping with a nice farm. In conclusion, there's many ways to do things, and no way is better or worse than another. And also, another conclusion you can draw from this is that even though someone can explain with words how to build better, the words are not what teaches someone how to build. It's the experience and the visuals that really do the job. Deal with this information what you will, and I will see you all in my next episode. Goodbye! I'm so confused. Why does it say potato on the ground?